You're listening to eLearnChat, where talk is knowledge.
Hello and welcome to eLearnChat, our new podcast featuring prominent leaders, shakers and movers in the e-learning and training industry. Your co-hosts are Rick Zanotti and Terrence Wing.
Hi everyone, I'm Rick Zanotti with Relay Corporation, and you are watching eLearnChat, where talk is knowledge. Now today we've got with us, as always, our co-host. Some co-host music. Hey Terrence, how are you today?
Hey Rick, you have got to get me a different song than that, because I do not want to be known as the Cialis guy. I'm only 42.
I thought the time was right.
No, we're going to find a different song for that, definitely. I am far from needing Cialis at this stage, but glad to be on show number 13. Thank you for all our viewers for making us a success and keeping us on the air till show 13. Hopefully you keep us on enough for show 1300 soon. Some of the administrative things is that if you are watching the show live and you want to chat with our guest, Josh Little from Bloomfire, please feel free to do so in the two places, actually. You can do it in the justin.tv/Relate Corp site, and we have a chat room set up there. Or you can also tweet using the hashtag eLearnChat. We also simulcast the show on liquidlearn.com and the ISD 2.0 Facebook fan page, which is facebook.com/ISD20. So plenty of places there. If you're running into firewall issues, one of those sites should be okay for you to break through. So that's all the administrative stuff I have to talk about, Rick. So I'll pass it back to you to introduce our amazing guest.
Well, great. Today we've got, excuse me, today we've got the owner and CEO of Bloomfire, Josh Little. Hey, Josh, how are you today?
Doing fantastic. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for having me on the show.
Oh, great.
And for the audience's applause,
yes.
I don't deserve it.
They're a rowdy bunch. You got to watch them.
We had to turn people away. There's like no seats left.
No kidding.
Well, you were telling us earlier in the pre-show that you are in Kalamazoo, Michigan.
Yeah. Oh, you forgot to say lovely.
Lovely Kalamazoo, Michigan. That's right.
You have to proceed it. Here, this is lovely Kalamazoo, Michigan. This is a view out of my home window with broken down, ice-burdened trees. Lovely Kalamazoo, Michigan.
It looks nice.
The office is closed. Yeah.
That actually looks nice.
Inch of ice Monday.
Wow. So
it almost looked like a postcard.
Yeah, Norman Rockwell postcard, right?
Yeah. Yep. Well, I'll be thinking about you as I go to the beach this afternoon.
Now, I've got your website. I've got your website up right now, and tell us a little bit about what Bloomfire does for those who may not know about it.
Okay, so really simply, Bloomfire is a platform that allows you to launch a site where simply you share knowledge with other people within a group. So what Bloomfire does really well is connect people who have knowledge with people who need it. Some call it a learning community. It involves social features. You can upload and create screencasts, videos, upload documents on the fly, and share those with others within your organization. So talking about e-learning, usually corporate, many companies are using Bloomfire for their employees to create communities of practice, and also for their customers to create knowledge sharing communities around products or uses of products. So Bloomfire is it's a new product, it's a new tool, and it's a very lightweight way to share knowledge with others within a group, topic, or organization.
That sounds great. How long have you guys been in business now?
We launched Bloomfire last March.
Oh, good.
South by Southwest.
Almost a year. Congratulations.
Almost a year. Yeah, one more month will be a year, and it's been a blast.
Oh, that's good.
You guys are
gutsy in a bad economy. You're doing well. This is good.
Yeah, no kidding. We're crawling our way out.
I'm sorry, I interrupted Terrence.
Oh, that's okay. I was just asking Josh that when I met him, I guess it was a couple of years ago at the ASTD International Conference and Expo. Was that your first launch of the product at a conference?
It was, yeah. We launched in March at South by Southwest in 2010. We actually, in May, when I think we met first, I was actually just contemplating the idea. Really, it was paper sketches at that point. Just a twinkle in my eye.
But that's definitely a different demographic, South by Southwest and ASTD ICE. Which one is probably closer to, to your target?
Well, our target is probably closer to South by Southwest. We have originally launched Bloomfire in a space where I knew we could get traction with it. I knew there were corporations and organizations who needed a really easy way to share knowledge. They didn't know how to build their own website to do it. They didn't want to try to bend WordPress with BuddyPress and pull a Facebook thing into it. And frankly, I see a lot of people go to conferences, like the like ASTD conferences or like e-learning guild conferences or training, and they get really excited about the prospects of social learning and informal learning, and they go to all these sessions and they're writing all these notes and just get wild about the idea, and then they go home and they don't really have a good way to put that into use. They start scratching their head saying, well, now how do I do this again? And I like the idea, but I just don't know how to make it happen. So Bloomfire, I knew, could help those people just create the one-click solution. Just launch a Bloomfire. It takes about 60 seconds. Upload your logo, invite your people, and start the conversation. So we launched with that crowd, the corporate training and development crowd, because I knew we could get traction. I've done work in that area a number of years with my original startup, Maestro eLearning, which is a e-learning custom development shop. So it was a place I knew to get traction. But the hunch that I had was that Bloomfire had much longer legs than just that industry. And that was the reason we launched at South by, is because I wanted to test that assumption. And now, less than a year later, we have, I don't know an exact count, but it's over 2,000 Bloomfires that have been launched for all sorts of reasons. Only maybe 10% are really corporate training and development focused. The rest are everything from sharing health knowledge to how to play the harmonica to betting tips to social media expertise, small business, how to build a website, those sorts of broad and vast knowledge. Ultimately, it's the tool that allows you to easily share what you know with a group and invite those to do the same back around a topic. So it works for a lot of instances.
So in essence, it's almost like a content management system with social media built into it.
Yeah, it really, some people think of it that way, although if you really try to weigh Bloomfire against other content management systems out there, like for a WordPress, people are using WordPress as a content management system, it's pretty weak, meaning it has fewer features, it's more simple. So weak is probably the wrong word to use, but it's much simpler. So if you're looking for a content management system, Bloomfire may not be an awesome choice, but if you're looking for a way to, share content, extend the conversation, the simplest way possible, Bloomfire, I don't know of a better choice.
Simple is good.
Simple is good.
Simple is really good.
What's one? Sorry, go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, that's part of the basis of Bloomfire is we have way too many outlets for our time. From websites to our work to our families to whatnot, simple is the right tool. There are too many learning tools that are really high level, high fidelity, complex that work for certain instances. But what we built Bloomfire for is to allow people to share their knowledge faster than they could send an email with an attachment. And I think that's been the bar for content creation in Bloomfire is you need to be able to go to Bloomfire and within seconds be recording your webcam or recording your screen. And you can do that. So we wanted to remove those barriers so that it was absolutely simple. And we push features out of the platform every day. We have thousands of feature requests, which would be great. But if we did even a small percentage of them, we'll turn our very simple, focused product into something that's not desirable anymore, complex and overweight.
What would you say is the feature that you do currently have that most of the users has gained the most traction?
Well, there's probably a ranked list there. Screencasting seems to be one of the hottest. Because we have a lot of software development companies who are using Bloomfire, or marketing agencies, or tech-focused companies, they often want to show things on their screen. And there are other tools that allow them to do that that are out there, but very few that allow them to do that and then publish it within a private syndicated audience and give everyone the access to do that. So screencasting is pretty huge, especially for like software development shops or customer training on software. You can use Bloomfire to do customer training on software. And now all of the customers have a way to record exactly what's going on with their system or their problem and allow the company to see what's going on, and they can share and have a conversation, and it's archived. So screen recording would be number one. Number two is the question answer engine that allows, if you're searching for something, this is common if you're learning, if you're a learner, yes, we do train, which is more just in case sort of learning. But the way the world is shifting is to a more just-in-time model, meaning I need to know something right now to do my job, to complete this task, and what's the best way to find it? Well, any of these learning systems or tools are going to have some sort of limit, and we're trying to extend that limit with Bloomfire. But ultimately, there is an end to the universe, and if you hit that end, we want to turn that error into an opportunity where you don't just find, oh, my content isn't there. It says, if you search in Bloomfire and you don't see what you're looking for, it says, not finding what you want, ask a question. You can ask a question. It's immediately syndicated out to anyone who's subscribed to question, anyone who's following you, and you'll have answers, multiple answers to your question in minutes. Some of those answers might be screencasts, some might be videos, some might be the PowerPoint presentation that you were looking for, whatnot. You can answer in multimedia. So that's been a pretty powerful value add within
that sounds
Bloomfire.
Actually something really useful. I wasn't familiar with Bloomfire, so to me right now this is new, exciting, and I'm definitely going to get into it after the show to learn more about it. And I can think of some community areas where this could really be beneficial, especially in the area of e-learning. Like you said, it's a good traction place, and it's a good place where people always want to know something or have a tool that they don't quite get and they need a little bit of help on it.
The crazy thing about that, Rick, is many people who have started using Bloomfire professionally have also launched their own personal Bloomfires for whatever it is, they're like motocross, or some people have family Bloomfires now that they've started just because they think, oh, well, this is the absolute best way for me to share my family video, this photo, these two documents that cousin Eddie needs, and let's just create this place that we can keep sharing all this media with each other, and it's private, so it's different than Facebook, where your bishop, your grandmother, your peers, your best friends are all on there. Well, what do you say? That's my friend group.
You just say hi.
Hi, I'm in Dallas.
That's about it.
I don't think I have a bishop follow me yet.
Right. Whatever it is, whatever you have.
So one of the challenges that I see where it's sort of the brick wall of good intentions is that companies that finally get the social learning and social media aspect of learning are starting to use systems like Bloomfire, even starting to venture out into some of the open source systems like YouTube, Facebook, and they recognize that the social aspect is important, but encouraging it and stimulating it and getting the organization to contribute, whether that organization is your internal, your employees, or the community at large, getting people to participate is a whole nother dynamic than just simply choosing the tool. So in your experiences, now I know in the pre-show you were talking that you had a few hundred clients so far that are using, corporate clients that are using Bloomfire. What are some of the benchmarking success stories that you have of, and you don't have to use names, I don't want you to disclose anybody who may not want to be disclosed, but what are some of those benchmarking success stories of people that have not just put a lot of content out there, but created a incredible social dynamic around the content?
Well, you're really hitting on something important that I'm very passionate about now, because you're absolutely right. And it's what most people actually think, is that if I throw this technology out there, people are just going to use it. And that's absolutely false. And that's coming from a guy who owns a company that I would love to be able to say that that's true. It's not. And we have questions all the time. In fact, our number one question or objection from people is, what if people say something bad? Meaning not necessarily like they're going to curse someone out or say something defamatory about the company, but just not right or not correct. And those questions are coming from a place that they're assuming that if they launch this technology, it's just going to go wild with the wind. People are going to take their shirts off and start posting, and it's going to be crazy. We're not going to be able to hold it back. We're going to have another Facebook on our hands. It's not true. And so, in fact, the exact opposite is true. And we've labeled this, we call it school dance syndrome, where it's a community dynamic. If you go into a school dance and everyone's standing at the punch bowl, what are you going to do? You're going to go stand at the punch bowl. You're not going to go out on that dance floor and dance. So what we've tried to help our customers learn to be able to do is use some of those tried and true methods of community dynamics and building community. One of those things is building a nursery. And so not everyone comes out of the box understanding how to get this to happen, because it's very different. It's a different model than what we're used to in corporate training, which is more of a push model. The learning management system, you've been enrolled, is a push model. I'm going to ask you to take this course by this date and get this certain score. Well, this is more of a smorgasbord. It's an all-you-can-eat buffet. Let me lay this out in front of you. Eat whatever you want, whenever you want, but it's here for you. And that causes some uncomfort, and people don't quite get it. So one of the things we try to help people learn how to do is build a nursery first. Don't launch this to your corporation. In fact, that's a terrible use of Bloomfire. We didn't build it to be enterprise. We didn't build it to extend, through multiple business units. Launch it out to a small group. In fact, choose your sales force. And so where I'm going to answer your question is, some of our customers have even segmented their sales force. There's sales force A, B, and C, and they have a Bloomfire for each of those, because they recognize that each of those are a community of practice. Salesforce A really doesn't care what any of the reps from Salesforce B are doing and Salesforce C. And they realized that if there was somebody having discussion or conversation around the other sales forces, it would only be detrimental to this space. So you think of it kind of like a party. You know how parties kind of end up breaking out into different rooms and different conversations are happening for different reasons. That's exactly it. I mean, that's the idea of what's going on with Bloomfires within organizations, is they might have multiple little places that are happening. But if you were to open this up and put it in a big room, suddenly the party's not as cool anymore. So we really try to keep the architecture focused on keeping the party cool. And so some companies that have embraced that, some of our customers that embraced it have been most successful. The ones who have understood that they're launching this for a specific topic, they have a purpose, they roll it out to a small group of people who understand that purpose and can start building and seeding content, which is what we're calling a nursery. And that nursery group sort of builds and starts to gain momentum, and then some of the other exciting things is maybe this is an exclusive site, and you have to jump across a hoop to belong to it. You have to achieve a certain level of sales. Like, this is only for our top 30% of our sales reps. They get to share knowledge in this space, or something like that. Then it causes, the barrier to entry actually causes more interest and drives more use.
Right, it motivates everybody to get into it.
Absolutely, yeah. So some of those things are what some of our customers have done well, and we've had the opportunity to learn from the best and help share that out with the rest of our customer population.
Terrence, what's going on in the chat room?
Well, we got a question from Jeff, and Jeff, and it's a very valid question, and probably the first question that will come from any one of your clients' IT departments, and that is, how secure, when I start building these communities on Bloomfire, how secure is it?
Yes. We love IT departments. Our system uses the same protocols for security as online banking systems like Mint.com and possibly systems that your bank is using, with 128-bit encryption and SSL protocols throughout the entire site. All data to and from is SSL encrypted. So if you feel comfortable doing banking online, you should feel comfortable sharing about your product or your challenges or asking a question on Bloomfire.
Great. And there, for those that might be watching this as a recording, in the chat room I mentioned that you also have a free version of Bloomfire, so anybody wanting to test it out can have that. And it's not a trial either. It's a free account, right?
Yeah, it's a very generous free account. We've been criticized for being too generous with that, but ultimately, I just want the world to use this. I just feel it's the platform the world needs, and we want it to use. So I love when people say I'm using Bloomfire for my family. Great, that's awesome. Thank you.
It's got to start somewhere.
It's got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And thanks for introducing Bloomfire to your family, by the way.
Well, it's with my family, I'm probably the techiest of them. So getting them to call on a cell phone is a task, a chore sometimes. So Bloomfire might be a stretch for them, but we're getting there. When I have my dad on Facebook, then I know that the world has arrived. He's the last holdout.
Really.
So what are when you think with your, again, without disclosing who your clients are, what are some of the common denominators as far as industry or company profile that you're seeing where Bloomfire is being very attractive for?
Well, that's a good question. It has shifted since we've launched. And like I said, we've been out less than a year here, so it's not like we're mapping world history. But initially, we were very corporate training and development focused because, like I said, I knew that's where we could get traction. We focused our efforts there. And we've sort of expanded out as our customer base has expanded out. And we've not been pushed. That's a bad, but we rode the wave that we were expecting to come. So in November, well, let me before I go there. Along the way, people who had started launching Bloomfires and building content were coming to us saying, "Hey, look, I've built this site and it's really valuable. I have all this great content out there. Someone would pay me to have access to this content. I know that people would pay to subscribe to my Bloomfire." So we thought that was a pretty compelling idea, and in November we launched Bloomfire 2.0, which allows people to charge for access to their Bloomfire, subscription access to their Bloomfire. This pivoted the strategy a little bit. While Bloomfire, it's entirely optional to charge for access to your Bloomfire, and if you don't, it looks exactly like it did before. But now there's a simple yes, I want to charge for access, and then you enter a price, and that's it. You don't need to go get a merchant account or set up a payment gateway and a shopping cart and stitch those together. It's just easy. So simple isn't easy, and we tried really hard to make it simple on the user interface, but make a complex thing very simple. But with allowing people to charge for access to their Bloomfire, we're now seeing an influx of, I'll call them thought leaders, solopreneurs, consultants who have great content. These are people who have either written a book, want to write a book, should write a book, who are seeing the site are saying, oh, well, yeah, this is exactly what I need. I need a place where I can share all of this content, open it up, let it breathe, and then continue the conversation beyond my book, beyond my my white paper, beyond my speaking engagements. So the largest influx of customers that we're seeing right now is from that space, and those range from betting tips. We have a customer. I'm sure he's okay with talking about it, but it's bettingtips.co.uk. He advises others on tips for betting, sports bets, and such. And he saw Bloomfire as the best way to get that message out and to monetize and allow people to subscribe to his stream of knowledge, this knowledge that he's built up over time. Another very successful one is exploring social media. So Jason Falls, who has the blog Social Media Explorer, he has run a very successful blog, has hundreds of thousands of followers, speaks all over the world at industry events. When he found Bloomfire, he said, "This is it. This is actually, I'm trying to build this currently, and this is I could have this up and running in 10 minutes." So it was exactly what he needed because he has all of this knowledge. He's a professional blogger and speaker, and he has a full staff. So now he has a site called Exploring Social Media. It's Bloomfire powered. It's exploringsocialmedia.bloomfire.com. And he's charging $25 a month for access. And when you get access to all of the content he posts, all of his associates, and all of the conversation that's happening in the community around this topic. It really has allowed him to extend the conversation. So those are probably the most exciting advancements in Bloomfire is this whole new market that we see. And ultimately where this is going is to the armchair experts, that allows anyone who has knowledge, who has great valuable knowledge, to share that with the world and somehow be rewarded for that, whether that's through money or whether it's through recognition or views or thank yous. This is where we see it heading.
Actually, that's great. And one thing I like is that you can monetize it. Frankly, I'm almost tired of free. Everybody seems to think that everything should be free, but people need to eat. And people also, I think as a society, we're minimizing expertise. So people who actually are good at something, there's no reason why they shouldn't get paid for what they're good at. Everybody gives out free advice, but there's also the expectation nowadays of everything being free. And you do get what you pay for in more cases than not. And I don't know, Terrence, what do you think about that?
Well, monetizing eLearnChat sounds like a good idea. I don't think we'll do that, but there's definitely validity to what you're saying, Rick. I think that I don't ever personally get tired of free, but I definitely see a trend moving in that direction. And sometimes we're attracted to something because it's free, and we find out as we use it that it's a piece of crap. So then there is that definite expression of you get what you pay for, and in many cases that's exactly what you get when you're getting something for free, is you're getting garbage. However, there's some really amazing things that we're getting for free, some amazing group dynamics that are happening with Facebook, with Twitter, and things like that, which don't cost you a dime.
Sure.
But they've found a way to monetize the free aspect of it by collecting this community and basically capitalizing on the fact that they've got a 500 million person or member audience that if you want to advertise to them, then here's your opportunity, and you have to pay for that. So I think that even though the free is an illusion, and that somewhere free is going to start turning into somebody paying something. It may not be the user, but somebody along the line is paying for the service. So that's my 2 cents on free.
Yeah, I think in any marketplace, there's room for both. There's room for free and there's room for paid. And there's reasons for both. There's reasons why I might have content on the web that I want to give freely, because either I have a philanthropic need to share this knowledge, or I feel like I'm giving to the world. Ultimately, that's filling my bucket in some way. If we go back to education school and we talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that's giving me my sense of belonging and self-actualization. But I also have that need to have food, shelter, and my basic bottom rung of that ladder. And so I might have some content, some premium content that is more valuable, that I do ask for money for. And so those two have some sort of symbiotic relationship, where if I give some free content that's valuable, well, that probably means you tested that content, you're comfortable with me, you trust me as a teacher, as a mentor, as a thought leader, and you'd be willing to pay. So often I feel like the paywall is put up too early for some people, and there needs to be that entryway, that comfortable entrance to the land, where people can come in. There's a great book, Free, The Future of a Radical Price, by Chris Anderson, which does a fantastic job relaying the values behind freemium and what people are getting from it. It's frankly why there is a free version of Bloomfire. I feel like there's a mission behind what we're doing with Bloomfire. There's a reason why I started this company, and it's well beyond what corporate training and development teams can do with this platform. It's more to what dent I can make in the world with this technology and allowing people to openly share knowledge with each other. It's exciting.
Oh, it sounds exciting, actually. Terrence, any other comments in the chat room right now? Everybody buzzing?
Well, Larry's joined us, so thanks, Larry. I know he was in the morning show with Gina as well, so thanks for coming back. He just made a statement that free is the gateway to pay, so it's try before you buy, and I think that's becoming more and more a strategy that we're seeing out there, that somewhere that the key is going to open up a door to profitizing what you're giving away for free. And it a lot of times it may come on the back end. Maybe you do have a book to promote, maybe you have a blog that you're trying to get advertisers on, but if your purpose is to attract an audience, then free is one of the important ingredients, but I don't know necessarily if free is the most important ingredient. I personally think content is the most important ingredient, and then once you have good content, then your pay structure kind of needs to be set up from there, whether it's free or whether it's fee for service or whatever the case may be. But I'm still a firm believer in the religion of content is king.
Absolutely. You have to have a good product. And another place that I'd like to push the boundary in this area a little bit is, I feel like on the web currently, you can only find, there's some sort of line in the sand, and that we're seeing and we bump up against when I want to, this is a specific instance for me, living in Michigan. I have clover in my lawn, lots of clover, and I want grass in my lawn. So I went online to try to find how to get rid of clover in my lawn. And I searched, and I looked through forums, and I read hundreds and hundreds of posts, and I watched YouTube videos, and all of those gave me a partial answer. Like, nobody really took me under their wing and said, hey, dude, this is how you get rid of clover in your lawn. Don't use this, don't use this, don't use this, use it this way, and this is how it's going to happen. And I got spoke to from marketers and different products. The problem was, at the end, I had 20 different answers, 20 different half answers, and I didn't know which way to go. I'd like to find and push the boundary of that. There are millions of how-to videos on YouTube right now that people are creating. Why? Out of the goodness of their hearts. They want views. They want recognition. They want to feel good that they gave something back to the world. Well, those are great, but I want to provide a way for people to be recognized more for that. And I think if they can be recognized, and I say recognized, that doesn't mean pay necessarily. It's how you want to be recognized. Be recognized more profoundly for what they're contributing. I think if we can achieve that, then we can achieve a place where people are willing to share more of their knowledge, more content, and do that thing that I was talking about. Take me by, put their arm around me and say, hey man, if you want to get rid of clover in your lawn, just do this. In fact, there was I recently needed to fix the door on my minivan, and I'm going to say that out loud because I've said for years I wouldn't own a minivan, but we had our third child this year, so stop making fun of me.
We've had 4 of them already, so I know how you feel. Not kids, 4 minivans.
Oh, really? Okay.
You know what? When we do video shoots and stuff, boy, they come in handy. You can put everything in those things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, our daughter already grew up and moved out, but boy, I tell you, we've had, I think, 4 already, 4 or 5 minivans. And we've had SUVs too, but the minivans are just real convenient. My wife hates them. She goes, I don't want another one. But they're good.
They're so functional. Absolutely. Well, I'll make this segue brief, but I needed to fix this door. I went through the same pattern as I did with the clover. 45 minutes I was searching for the answer, how to fix this door in my minivan. And I said in my mind, I'll just pay someone. If they gave me the answer to this, I would just pay them. But the problem was I ran across something. It was askadodgemechanic.com, which was it was a Just Ask, I think is the name of the site that promotes that. And you can pay $15 and you can ask a Dodge mechanic. And I didn't do it, and I kept looking, and I stopped myself. I said, dude, what are you doing? You just told yourself in your mind that you would pay someone. And here's a Dodge mechanic that could tell you exactly how to fix that thing, and you're not doing it. And I asked him, why wouldn't you pay? It's $15. You can afford $15. You just spent 45 minutes looking. And I answered back to myself. I talk to myself a lot. I don't know if that's apparent through the story, but I answered back and said, well, I think it's because I haven't reached the end of the internet yet. I still have faith that I'm going to find something for free. And you know what? In about 10 more minutes, I did find it. I found a 4-minute YouTube video. The guy opened up his door, pulled the track out, showed the broken wire, showed how to fix it, put it back together, pushed the button, the door closed, 4 minutes. And then I said, I would pay him. If there was a way I could pay him right now, I would pay him. So there's a profound question in there that I think ties back to the conversation we were just having about trust. Is that and free is that, and I think Larry said it right. And free should be a gateway to pay. Absolutely, because I didn't know if I could trust this Dodge mechanic. I didn't know really if this Dodge mechanic was going to give me the right answer. But because I saw this 4-minute YouTube video, man, he saved me $150. I'd give him 10. I'd right now, if there was an easy way I could click a button and click pay, I'd give him $10 right now.
And there's another thing. And there's another thing you dodged. I went to that same site once. I had a vet problem. Weekend, vet's not here, and I just said, let's see if I can find an answer online. I didn't find an answer specifically for what we needed, so I found this. It was either Just Answer or Answer It. I forgot what it was called, but there was a downside. I did talk to a vet, $15. He gave good advice, and they have hounded me forever with emails.
Oh.
And you know what? I'm not paying $15 again to that place. It's even though the answer was good, the irritation wasn't. And so that's just something to so you missed, you dodged that bullet of getting a lot of emails a year later. Did our solution help you? Yeah, I told you that 14 times already. And it just goes on. And by the way, we have other services. And you know what? That's marketing that you don't really want. And it just becomes an irritant rather than, okay, so am I going to go back there? No, because I don't trust them anymore. Because I know they're just going to just keep pushing more emails. And so you're right, trust. It's all about trust. And I've gone to YouTube same way many times, where I found the one bit of information I was looking for. And the problem with YouTube, most people don't know how to tag. So it's hard to find things because they're not tagged right. But once you find the tag, wow, you can find all sorts of arcane information that's right there for free. And you're right, I'd pay some of these guys 15, 20, $100 for some of the stuff I've gotten out of it that saved tons of time in the long run. But without trust, the pay for something is a little more risky. Well,
and I think there's a certain level of I think you both hit on it. There's a certain level of expertise that you do find in places like YouTube. And here's a great comparison. A product that I love, I know Rick loves this product too, is lynda.com, lynda.com. And if I'm looking for questions on a software program, my first instinct is to go to YouTube and see if I can find a video there. But after a while, I'm like, you know what? Either I don't have the time to keep doing that, or I'm just not finding the right answer that I need. So now it is time to pay, and I go to Lynda has like a $25 a month subscription, and the library of information there for $25 is amazing. So
it's free.
I am willing to pay that.
It's almost free if you think about what you're getting. It's free. Thousands and thousands of video. I remember once I was doing a thing where I needed to know a little bit of After Effects, and I knew just enough to be dangerous. But in this case, I needed to know how to green screen in After Effects. Okay, I looked at a couple of books. Nothing. Looked at the Adobe manual. Okay, now I'm ready to shoot myself. So, okay, how do I green screen this stuff? Went to lynda.com. Oh, they have an After Effects class. Oh, look, they have a little section, 5-minute thing on green screening. Been green screening for 3 years since that one little 5-minute investment. But yeah, I've been subscribed to them for over 10 years, and every penny, the $250 a year we spend is more than worth it. And again, trust. They have good teachers, they have good content. It is well worth the money that you pay for, and I think we pay it willingly because you're going to get good value for it.
Yeah. And so I guess that's kind of like what I'm seeing from Bloomfire is, there's the YouTube options out there. Anybody that wants to open up their doors to anybody, to come and view the content that's there. And then you have the firewall versions too, where people are just doing that, but behind their firewalls for their own, whether corporate community or just a closed community. And then you have the people that are willing to pay, whatever the fee is to access it. And am I wrong on that that's kind of a couple of options that Bloomfire has?
No, you're right on. And in fact, I love that you mentioned Lynda. We've often said that Bloomfire is a way you can start your own lynda.com. We give you all the tools to create that site for yourself, whether you want to do it on software training or bicycles or lawn care tips. If you're an expert and you know other experts and you could syndicate that group, Bloomfire is the perfect way, man. It really takes about 60 seconds to set one up, throw a logo in, and start building content right now. So I'm more interested in finding. I love Lynda's model, and I think it's terrific, and I think their site is super valuable. I agree. But for my own personal mission, I'm interested in getting more out of the world, not just better out of the people who are creating content. I feel like we're only touching 1% of the content that the world has in their minds and in store. But I feel like there's so much more out there. And Bloomfire kind of opens that up.
I get a lot of emails asking, how can I set up a site where I can teach music and charge for it? Well, I now know where to send them because there's a lot of musicians who are very, very good, and they want to charge $5 or $10 a month and teach people guitar, piano, organ, drums, whatever. But they don't know how to do it, and they really don't have a clue about how to set up gateways, and it's a pain. And you know it. You've worked with it. If you don't know what you're doing, it's hard. And this is a perfect kind of venue for that. Tons of musicians who want to do this. Get the training out there because people can't get to them easily. They have a lot of talent, and it might be another great venue for that. And we don't always have a good musician nearby that can teach us what we want to learn. So this is something I get a lot of those, And I usually go, I don't know, go over here and try to set up an account. Well, this makes it easy.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Yeah, you're right. And beyond even that use case, usually when you take a music lesson from someone, you have a half an hour with that person. That's it until next week.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have the chance to ask questions, and you don't really know who else they're teaching and where they're at. In fact, when I took guitar lessons, I knew that guitar teacher was teaching some amazing guitar players that I would love to even just take lessons from. So it kind of brings that group together, that little following, that fan base, where now you can ask questions of other learners. And we know that when we teach, we learn at a higher level. So if you can bring learners into the teaching process and shift that responsibility from the teacher, from that mentor, down to the learners and allow learners to become teachers, which is the basis of Bloomfire, it creates for a more valuable, more profound learning experience for everyone who's a member.
Oh, I think we just lost Terrence, so I'm going to bring Terrence back, and
Okay.
Yeah, it just said connection lost. I go, he's disappeared on us. Oh, he's doing a ninja thing again. He does ninja stuff every so often. Let me see if I can get him back. I've got you on the screen, and maybe you can talk a little bit about what the first steps are for people when they get into Bloomfire. Kind of give an idea of what they can look at, and just kind of spark their creative juices a bit while I try to get him back.
Well, the first thing you need to have is a reason, something to share, something you're passionate about, something you're interested in. This could be for you your employment. It could be something you want to solve within your organization. Meaning we just can't connect. All of our sales reps are reinventing the wheel in their own territory. I wish there was a way they could get together. Or, man, I love Jeep Cherokees, and I really wish I could learn what other people are doing to pimp their Jeep Cherokee, or whatever that is. Have a reason, something you want to share knowledge on. Music would be wonderful. I'm a musician, and I would love for this I would love for Bloomfire to enable musicians to share their craft and hone their skills. So first, find your purpose.
You're trying to reach.
I'm sorry about that.
And then second, think about how you're going to launch it. The launch process. Now, none of us, not none of us, few of us went to marketing school and understand how to launch products and strategically through markets, and you don't need to think through that. But what you do need to think through is the idea of creating a nursery. And I mentioned it earlier. A nursery is a small group of people that basically allow this site to take wings. It's the cool kids that you invite to the dance to start dancing, so that when everyone else comes in, there's already dancing happening in the space, right? So that's the idea of the nursery. You want the cool kids dancing. You don't want the cool kids sitting at the punch bowl when they come in. So get the site live. Find some like-minded people. So if you're a professional mountain biker, you might find some other professional or novice mountain bikers who are probably your friends already, and just say, hey, I want to create this site where people just share tips and tricks and tweaking their bikes, trails that we ride, and other techniques in the mountain biking lifestyle, and get them to believe in what we're pulling this site together for, and then have them start creating content together, and then that little seed group will start to blossom, just like a nursery does. It blossoms out. And when it blossoms enough, you can take the plants you plant in the nursery and go plant them in the garden. That's when you can start bringing other people in and kind of cross-promoting this site to other places.
That's great. That's great. I think this is I think you're onto something, and I think it's I wish you the absolute best success in it, because I think, like you said, you got a mission, and it's a good one.
Cool. Yeah, thanks.
It's a good one. Well, we lost Terrence, and I tried getting him back about 3 times, and I'm suspecting he may have had an internet problem. We don't have ice here, but in California, if it drops below 50, that's it. That's the end of the world. So things get ugly here when it's under 50. So anyway,
sure.
Well, I appreciate you coming out and joining us today, and I know I speak for Terrence as well. This was great, and I'd love to have you back on. Maybe around mid-year or something. Tell us, where it's going, how it's going, and And by then, there's a good chance we're probably going to be on Bloomfire too. So we'll have our own experiences we can share with you. My mind's been racing through about 500 possibilities as we've been talking, which isn't good while we're doing a show, but I've got a lot of ideas on how we can do this with some of the e-learning projects we've got and groups that we work with that could be a little bit better than just going completely wide open and not getting people to come to the community. So this could be interesting.
Mm-hmm. Terrific, Rick. Well, thanks so much for having me and for taking the time to put the show together.
Oh, no, we really appreciate it, and we will see you soon. Are you going to be going to Learning Solutions by any chance?
Not this year.
Not this year, okay. Are you going to any shows this year that you can tell people about? They can go and find you.
Well, South by Southwest is the one we've committed to going so far this year.
Okay.
We've been very focused on product development and expanding a product, so the conference circuit, I think, is going to be a little more limited this year, but South by is, you got to go. If you've never been, you should just go to Austin mid-March. It's pretty crazy.
That sounds good. All right, great. Well, we will see you on the next one. Good luck with Bloomfire, and we'll definitely have more to say next time on that, too. So thanks a lot for sharing today, and we will see you soon.
Thanks, Rick.
Take care.
Bye-bye.